That's right, why all it's time for everybody's in the middle's best friend Uncle Ricky in the house. Of course he's going to run his big mouth.
Hello. Welcome to Uncle Ricky's house. Thank you for joining me in Season 1, Episode 5. This episode is entitled, Jenny Did It. Follow me as I create my own conspiracy theory, proving that Virginia Jenny Thomas leaked the ALITO decision to Politico. I can explain her motives. I can explain her reasons. You will find it fascinating at Uncle Ricky's house. This is the nation's Hall of Justice, the United States Supreme Court. Within these walls are the top justices in the country. These 9 justices determine and interpret the laws of the United States of America according to the Constitution. Recently, these justices upset the nation by overturning Roe versus Wade. On January 22nd, 1973, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty. Let me read that again. Protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. This was a decision in the landmark case of Roe versus Wade. This was the precedent that was established in 1973 that stated that abortion was legal in the United States. A woman had the right to get an abortion because that was her choice, and no state could by law impede that process. This is the current United States Supreme Court. 9 men and women determine how the laws of the United States will impact their fellow citizens. Recently, it was made plainly clear that 4 of those members do not have a voice due to the shenanigans of the grand old party, the Republican Party, and the 45th President of the United States stuffing 3 ultra-right-wing conservative GOP justices on the court within the 4-year tenure of President Donald J. Trump. Whoa, Virginia is for lovers. Well, welcome back. Did you miss me? Well, you see how it's going so far? It seems that the foundation of so-called justice in America has just ripped the foundation from under the autonomous rights of women to control the functions of their own body. Let us delve into this wicked attack on female rights. This is Justice Samuel Alito. Alito is the author of the federal eviction notice for a woman's right to control or regulate or deal with the functions of her body. Alito wrote the decision the conservative right-wing decision to remove the precedent of Roe versus Wade, making abortion legal in the United States. This decision, if actually handed down, that is one hope, it hasn't been handed down, but this decision, if actually handed down, will immediately kick abortion rights back to the full control of the individual states. Several states, especially in the South, like Mississippi, already have trigger laws. In other words, they have laws already written that as soon as abortion is banned at the federal level, they will automatically completely abandon the right of a woman to have an abortion in their state. ALITO opened Pandora's box. ALITO's decision opened Pandora's box. The prospect of the clock ticking down on a woman's right to control her own reproductive functions set the nation ablaze. First of all, the decision, whether legal or not, is not a popular decision. 60% of the people in the United States approve of abortion in some form or another. The percentage is even higher when you discuss the prospects of abortion for rape and incest. ALITO's decision allows narrow-minded states to impose draconian laws that do not allow for exemptions to perform an abortion in the case of incest or rape. They are also going to the extreme by saying that the act of obtaining an abortion should have punitive effects. For the first time in 50 years, women had to face the fact that they no longer had the ability to choose. Many women now that are of childbearing age don't even remember the struggle for abortion rights. Guys, don't you dare feel like this is a woman-only thing. This decision was an attack on the assumption that was made in the first precedent that the 14th Amendment intended to cover the rights of autonomy for a female. There are several other precedents based on the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. They include things like Loving versus Virginia that says it's okay to marry between the races. There's a precedent that has to do with a woman doesn't need her husband's permission to deal with her own medical needs. There's a precedent that says that segregated schools are illegal because the concept of separate but equal is not achievable. These are all precedents. None of these are written into any law, into any specific code. They are all covered under precedents decided by the Supreme Court. This Supreme Court has thrown down the gauntlet, saying that if one Supreme Court decided it with precedent, even though 3 of the last conservative judges that were put on the Supreme Court in their nomination hearings either directly said that they would not overturn precedent, or that precedent had to be respected, irregardless of personal opinion, as constitutional law.
This is Chief Justice John Roberts. Justice Roberts' job is to protect the image, the integrity of the Supreme Court of the United States of America. The leak of ALITO's decision put the Chief Justice in a damage control mode. ALITO's decision had ignited the country ahead of time. The Supreme Court intended, even though the decision was already months old, the Supreme Court intended to release it on its last days in session, sometime late in May or early in June. The leak caused the people to flood the streets, exercising their First Amendment right to free speech and to gather for the purpose of peacefully protesting. The battle lines were being drawn. There had been random cases of violence. Roberts was up against the wall. He admitted that the document that was leaked was true. They say the truth will set you free, perhaps, but maybe not in this case. Roberts, copping out to the truth in the leaked document, brought direct open hostility and fury against the institution that he is charged with protecting, defending, keeping the public aware of the integrity of the said highest court in the land. Well, perhaps Chief Justice Roberts is being introduced to a one-on-one exposure to failure. There are reports of planned attacks against the justices that voted to overturn Roe versus Wade and legally shackle every woman in the damn country. Talking points are unique in that the worst, most ill-advised, most logically inconceivable talking points are the ones that gain faux legitimacy the quickest. Judge Roberts harping, bitching about the sanctity of the Supreme Court of the United States having its secrets invaded, and its secrets were necessary for the proper operation of the court, without even stopping to consider that 5 justices on the Supreme Court just violated the sanctity and secrecy and the right to secrecy in every woman's life in the damn country. Well, anyway, the talking point grew out that the leaker had to be a liberal. I'd say that is wrong. The leaker was a conservative. But Newsmax said that the leaker was the liberal, newly appointed Supreme Court Justice and the first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now, there is a fault in this stupid peckerhead's logic. Jackson doesn't even have office space in the Supreme Court. The decision was made in February. She was not on the bench. She has not actually been seated to the bench until a retirement occurs. So how the hell could she or anyone on her staff be the leak. This is a picture of the Newsmax streaming network news anchor staff, the talking heads, the voices to the public that represent Newsmax. This is a classic collection of racist idiots, including the self-hating racist, the two sisters shown in the picture, better known as Diamond and Silk. There is no way that you can logically come up with the conclusion unless you are trying to fling racist dog shit against the wall to see what sticks. No way in your rabbit ass, convoluted, flag, stars and bars waving fucking mind that you can say Jackson or her staff is guilty when they don't even have office space in the Supreme Court yet.
This is Virginia Ginny Thomas. No, wait a minute. No, that's not Virginia Ginny Thomas. My bad. This is Virginia Ginny Thomas. Nope, my bad. There is a resemblance, but that's not Virginia Ginny. That's just Ginny the cow. This is, unfortunately, really Virginia Ginny Thomas. Virginia Ginny Thomas is the leaker. Recently, political analysts have said that the preliminary train of thought that it was a liberal leak, after giving it some thought, the theory no longer holds water. They believe that it was a conservative. I'm going to take that a step further by saying it was a batshit crazy ultra-conservative, and that was Ginny Thomas. Now, Ginny had multiple reasons for leaking the decision, but the first, as was discussed on CNN recently, the reason she leaked the decision was to let the public know which justices actually voted or decided to overturn Roe versus Wade, which justices decided to put women back into domestic servitude, perhaps only slightly short, or the beginning to sexual slavery in their own homes. Well, this is Ginny Thomas. Ginny Thomas believes that her cause is right. She is a powerful lobbyist for ultra-right-wing conservative Christo-fascist activities in D.C. Now, Ginny's success not only comes from her vigor and zeal, as in zealotry, towards her cause, but it comes because of the fact of who she's married to. This is Ginny Thomas's husband, the dishonorable Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, Clarence, that's not Clarence Thomas. And no, yes, my mother did teach me better than that. This is Associate Justice Clarence Thomas, husband of right-wing zealot Virginia Ginny Thomas. Justice Clarence Thomas is only the second black man to hold a seat on the bench of the highest court in the land. Although Thomas did not shatter any glass ceilings with his nomination, he is unique. So sorry, Brad Kavanaugh, you were not the first justice to have your nomination marred by a sexual scandal. Justice Thomas, a la Anita Hill. Thomas is also the first of his kind to achieve the lofty heights Congratulations, Justice Thomas. You are a great American and a credit to your people, which just ain't, despite appearances, really.
This is the happy couple, Associate Justice and Mrs. Clarence Thomas. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. The Thomases have been known to call each other best friend, those pet, cool, love names, pillow talk. The Thomases project themselves as the model American couple, based in Christianity and doused in the values that make Americans great. Well, Ginny Thomas, wife of Justice Clarence Thomas, thinks that she is such a great American that she participated in the organization, at least the organization, if not the planning of the January 6th insurrection in the name of patriotism. Her name has come up on several occasions in the January 6th committee investigation. Now, the former president, Donald John Trump, in his efforts to stall the committee as they root out the causes of his madness, tried to get all of his cronies, all of his minions, to claim executive privilege. His claim of executive privilege was tried in the courts all the way up to the Supreme Court. It was given rush handling to get on the docket during this session. There are 9 justices on the Supreme Court. 5 of them are ultra-right conservative. The final decision on the Trump case was 8 justices in favor of denying Trump's claim. The only justice that was in favor of Trump maintaining his privilege was the wife of the organizer of the January 6th insurrection, her husband, Associate Justice Clarence Thomas. Well, that's the preliminary evidence on Virginia Ginny Thomas. We have one motive down, and now for the coup de grace. When I finish this, you will have no doubt at all, that Virginia Ginny Thomas was the leaker of the ALITO decision. Now, we talked about Clarence and Ginny being in trouble because of the fact that the The January 6th committee discovered that Ginny was at least at the rally on January the 6th, and through taped or phone text discussions between her and Mark Meadows, it was discovered that Ginny had much to say. Yes! A whole fucking lot to say about January the 6th. Now, of course, this was not publicly discussed, and when January 6th went awry and the committee was formed and Trump started his stall game of taking everything to court and trying to claim executive privilege, when the law plainly states that once you give up the presidency, the privilege is no longer yours to control. The seated, active, living, breathing president is the one that assigns executive privilege. And Joe Biden said, go for it, and Trump tried to go to court. He did go to court. And between his tantrums and a legitimate desire to find out what happened on January 6th, the case was expedited to the Supreme Court so that it could be heard in this session instead of having to wait almost another 6 months to get it into the next session. Well, the Supreme Court, even with the loaded triple play of Kavanaugh, I don't have my teeth in, if you're wondering, because they kept slipping and I'm out of polygrip, and I wanted to finish this tonight, so you guys just are in for a real show. Anyway, the triple threat of Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Barrett, the liars, even they could not help their buddy Trump out, the person that lifted them to the acme of judicial life. But anyway, when the vote came down, all the conservative rats took an L for the sake of safety. It would just be too illogical to vote. It was nothing they could argue with. I mean, the law was plain and simple, and it had been in effect and obeyed by everybody until you got to Trump. And Trump got to be special. So they had to say no. But there was one little ultra-conservative who stood all by himself. And that fool was Associate Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, if all things were normal, Thomas doing this would have just been, maybe a footnote in history or blah, 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 blah. But when you take into effect of who he's married to, who he calls his best friend, who his wife, Virginia Ginny Thomas, got caught texting, talking to Mark Meadows about conversations she's had with her best friend. Don't you think that logically you could maybe come to the conclusion that Ginny could have a lot of influence on Clarence, and that Clarence tells her more shit than she needs to know? You think, could it just be possible Wouldn't you like to be a roach on the wall in Clarence Thomas' bedroom? Oh fuck no. That's too visual for me. That's way too visual. But the thing being is, all of this out in the open, that was the initial assault on the integrity of the Supreme Court. Now, less than 2 weeks later, you follow it up with the leak of the ALITO decision. Now, like I've said, perhaps Clarence talks a little bit too much. Perhaps he's a little careless with the work he brings home with him. Perhaps Ginny is just a tad bit smarter than Clarence. Perhaps. At least conniving. A tad bit more conniving. Because after all, she's been his handler ever since the day the nut said, I do. Now, you see how I'm spinning this conspiracy. Very little of it is based in truth. And in reality, yes, it could maybe potentially come true. But, I mean, is there any real probable chance? I mean, a year from now, you know, we'll be able to say, yeah, I knew he was found guilty back a year ago. No. But it's a conspiracy theory, just like the one Newsmax. I'm throwing bullshit against the wall just to see what sticks. Now let me finish frying Ginny Thomas's ass. Okay, now this put Roberts really on the defensive, because he's still doing the weeble wobble from the Thomas affair. Now he's got a leak. Now here comes the closing of the trap on my conspiracy theory. Following in the interim between the two, let's say, scandals, the Thomases were uncommonly quiet, especially for Ginny. Now, it's an established fact that Ginny is ultra right-wing conservative. It's an established fact that Ginny leveraged her husband's position to overplay her function and role in the socio-political structure of D.C. Ginny Thomas had a habit of popping up at the White House to talk to Mark Meadows about who she thought should be hired and who she thought should be fired, and who was loyal and who was not. That was Ginny Thomas. Ginny Thomas is completely dedicated to her cause, a zealot, right-wing conservative. Now, we said that she allegedly leaked the decision to publicize the names of the justices, to show people the power of the conservative movement. Now I'm taking this into Ginny Thomas batshit crazy mind land right now, to show people the power of the movement, the zeal of the people of God, the people of America, the true patriots. This is Ginny Thomas. There is a second, perhaps just as equally important, if not more so, motive for Ginny Thomas to do what she did. And that motive was that Ginny Thomas is a petty ass bitch. Let me say that again because I got my teeth out. Ginny Thomas is a petty ass bitch. She did it because she was pissed. Because they told her to shut her damn mouth. Ginny Thomas did it to show who really wears the pants in the Thomas family. Who is the real mover and shaker in the Thomas household? Who punks who in Justice Thomas land? Thank you, and I am confident that I have proven that Ginny Thomas did it. Until the next time, it's time for y'all motherfuckers to get the hell out of my house. It's been a pleasure, it's been a joy. To all the people in the middle, black, brown, red, white, blue, and yellow, purple, even too. Let us make a stand to save our land for the people in the middle, like me and you. Goodbye from Uncle Ricky.
And Justice Thomas wants to say to all the people in the land, hands up, don't shoot, carry me back to old Virginia. Somebody tell my mama I didn't listen. Goodbye, Uncle Ricky.